morning and welcome to Westona. It's the time to do another walk. By the way, the train's over there. I'm not taking a train, I'm following the track. So there's the train and there's the guy with the leaf blower. And there is a very pretty toilet. So yeah, today the walk is here in Westona, on to Altona, and then on to Seaholme. It's probably the shortest walk of this journey, but it's not without features of interest. So just get past the guy with the leaf blower. Got to do your job. There's a bit of a view of the train station. And basically the walk's fairly easy. You just follow the tracks. Or I should say track because there's only one track along this stretch of the train lines to Melbourne. The track splits at the station so trains can pass one another. Never actually walked this before. That's a grocery store. And you can probably hear the birds. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. Still very quiet here, apart from birds. About 8 degrees, not warm, but that's what it is. By the way, important, I do have an espresso. So if you hear me slurp, that's the reason why. Looks like these people have fortified their house. Reminds me of the house in Mononk for some reason. Morning. Ooh, it's a bit cold. And I still haven't got my gloves in the mail. They should arrive today. But I'll look forward to them when they arrive. But on the other hand, this camera does heat up a little bit when I'm recording a video, so I may have a hand warmer. Interesting choices here in the yard. They kept things native. They have some very pretty houses around here. Actually, I might see if I can go a bit wider. This is one of those walks where I kind of hope I warm up quickly. There's the fixer-upper, and through the fence there, you should be able to see the railway tracks. G'day. They're kind of pretty. Our only choice here is to cross the tracks around the corner. Actually, it's not. There is a side road, and I think I'll take that because it's quieter. It is Railway Street North. Just pausing to finish my espresso. You don't want to have it too late because it gets a bit bitter if you leave an espresso too long. So you can see that's just like a single lane of train track going between the streets of the suburb. And I'm going to pull down my beanie over my ears. Cute little gum nuts. Morning. It says over there, this street continues across the railway tracks. Okay. After you.
Thank you.
Not saying a lot on this vlog. That's a worry, maybe because I'm thirsty. Maybe I need to get my water out and have some pause video. That was a bit scary because I thought I had the video on slow motion all the time I've been walking, which fortunately I don't know that I have, but if I have, the audio hasn't come through. So I'm going to just walk along here and check it, and I can start the intro again should I need to, while fast forwarding through that slow video. I'm really worried now. Hopefully I haven't done that. Excuse me while I pause here and just check. It's good to be paranoid about these things, but no, I have not slow mode for 10.5 minutes. Oh, that is a worry. I've been thinking about toilets as well, while on the toilet usually, but as we all know, I've lived for a very long time. So long it's ridiculous. And I've seen a bunch of different toilets, and I kind of thought about the different kinds of toilets that I have seen in my long life. My grandparents used to live in Redfern, an inner suburb of Sydney, up in Gadigal land. It looks like somebody's been living here under this tree, or they've set up a playground for a kiddie. I'll tell you about toilets while I'm zooming in on that. Yeah, my grandparents lived in a very old terrace house. The terrace house was so old, it was built in the 1860s. And the house no longer exists. They tore it down in the 60s, put up an enormous block of housing commission flats, which they tore down in the 2010s because it wasn't up to scratch, let's say. But anyway, leaving that aside, because the house was built in the 1860s, the sewerage system was a little bit primitive. And the toilet my grandparents had was down at the back of their short little yard, which is all brick paved, in a little outdoor dunny. And the toilet itself, without getting too indelicate, was a drop to an underground culvert kind of thing, where water flowed and washed away all the things one puts into a toilet. Haven't seen that anywhere else. And I'll continue that story after we watch a train come down the track and stop this level crossing, which is just a pedestrian level crossing. It's not even a car level crossing. So I'll slow-mo that. So that was interesting. Let's cross here anyway. Thanks, mate. Couple of little shops which exist because there's a school there, and there were always a couple of shops near an old-fashioned school. This house, I don't know why they painted it that colour, but I've got a feeling they shouldn't have. So that's my grandparents' toilets. Very interesting, very old school. Then for a while, my mother, my brother and I, and my little baby sister Sandy were couch surfing before we found a place in Smithfield in Sydney. That was the most interesting toilet because it was a night soil toilet, which means every 2 weeks a little man would get out of a very smelly truck and deliver a steel drum that sat underneath our toilet bowl, like our toilet seat, and you pooed and weed in that. Toward the end of the 2 weeks, it got very full and very odoriferous. And then the man would come back 2 weeks later, swat away all the flies, put a steel tight-fitting lid on top of the very full and very messy drum, take it away and replace it with another one. One day, we had a problem. The man fell over carrying it up to the truck. The drum split open and left 2 weeks of number ones, number twos and sanitary products all up the driveway. That had to be cleaned up, and it was. So that was the second one. Hey, I found a street library. Let's see what we got in here. Oh, a copy of Kerouac's On the Roads in here. A whole bunch of other stuff. Lots of kiddie books. Cool. I've already got a copy of On the Road, so I won't avail myself of that. And for some reason, this isn't hooking up to my mic. So let's see what we can do about that. There we go, that's better. So yeah, that was the second kind of toilet I had. Fortunately, ever since then, someone's talking on their phone without earphones.
They're like overworking Maddie to the core. She was like traveling.
And of course, it's somebody with an American accent. Yeah, so ever since then, normal flush toilets, porcelain bowl, water swirls around however it swirls around. I don't think it does it differently from the Northern Hemisphere, to be honest with you. I never noticed anything. The last kind of toilet, which is high-tech as shit, and I use that word deliberately, is the Japanese bidet toilets in Tokyo and Osaka and other places. And here comes another train. It is peak hour, so I'll just let you enjoy the train, because some people do. Heading in the same direction as us, and it's slowing down for Altona station already. If you haven't tried a Japanese spray your ass bidet toilet, it's a revelation. It is just the best. No paper required. Lemon-tree. No paper required. It will squirt you with warm water. It will play you music. It will spray dry air until your little bot is perfectly sanitary. And then you get off and enjoy your day and go have an onigiri at Lawson or something like that. Very cool, very wonderful. Totally love it. Now, if I'm aiming the camera off to the right or left a lot, there's school kids walking around. And you've got to be respectful. Hey, can somebody buy me one of those? I need a caravan to use as a vlogging studio. A good one, not a piece of shit. I'll stick it up the front of the house and just wire it into the home electricity. What do you know? We're almost at Altona, which you've seen before if you saw my video of the longest bus ride in Melbourne. The 903 starts from just up here. There's the end of the train platform. And here is the Altona RSL Club. RSL stands for Returned Servicemen's League. It's a club for ex-military people. They have them all over Australia. They call them the Rissols because RSL Rissol. In other places they're bigger because they have poker machines, which increases their revenue. And there in front of us is the 903, the bus that goes all the way to Mordialloc. How's that for timing? Starts and ends right there. Well over 100 bus stops. But that's not today's story. So we're at Altona Station and we're going to keep going straight ahead with a little detour past the shops. And down there, right at the end of the street, is Hobson's Bay again. We saw that in the last video. So we're back paralleling the bay. And here we are at Altona shops. Might find a place to sit at Altona and just hydrate a bit more because talking and walking does dehydrate you. But first, we've got street art. Let's take a look at that. There's a fair bit of it around Altona, and it's all kooky as hell. There's Rick and Morty up there. So it's a very science fiction themed piece of street art, complete with street signs for Sirius, the beach, Earth, Altona Space Station, Kepler and Virgo. Very cool, like that. By the way, I do have a new dead cat for my microphone. I had a few spare ones because I knew I would lose them. And they don't cost very much at all. Kebab shops. I love a good kebab, but not right now. I'm going to stop this camera because there's a lot of kids ahead. There we are. The main drag of Altona, leading down to the pier where Liam Neeson drove a car in the movie very recently. Not a Naked Gun movie, the one he did before Naked Gun. Next stop, Seaholme, the last stop of the day. And there of course are the tracks again. This is a nice easy walk, I like this one, except for the fact I don't have any gloves on. And I probably need them. Car park. If you liked or you didn't like the toilet stories, let me know. I have very little filter at this time of the morning. Here we go, proof of life. Heading down the small street that heads all the way to Seaholme. Sorry, not Seaholme, Seaholme. Last stop of the day. And the good thing there is I happen to know a very good coffee shop on the way back. So, win for me. The next video we're doing is a big one. It is Megalo, Megalo, Megalo. To quote a famous person who lives in Victoria, or did. It's going from Seaholme to Newport. And that's going to be like 6 or 7 kilometres. It's going to be bigger than the one before this one. So I'm probably doing that on Sunday. But it's going to be enormous. And I'm actually scouting the route after I finish this video to make sure I can take the shortest, the most scenic route. But back to the road. As I said, I've never driven along here, but I have taken the train line. That's a weird house over there. It looks a bit like it's trying to be a castle and failing miserably. But this old school house from the 1940s is more in tune with the neighbourhood, let's say. You can hear the magpies and the ravens. Hey, we've got another pedestrian crossing up here, which I might take because I think I need to be on the other side to catch the train. Could be wrong, I have been many times in the past on these walks, but it's worth doing anyway. And there is beepy warnings about trains on this one, but there's no gate that comes down. So let's just see which way the train's coming. I wonder if that's a school alarm rather than a train alarm. I can hear. There's the tracks one way, no train. There's the tracks the other way, and there's me crossing them. It's nice to be doing this when it's nice and cool. Lots of new housing along here, because real estate agents, of course. I think we're less than a kilometre away from Seaholme station now. I think it's got even colder rather than warmer since I first did this walk. Here you go, house for sale if you want it. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car space. It's a unit. Probably cost you $1 million. 21st century modern. 20th century modern over there. This walk is going to be so short that I don't even have to put the battery pack onto the camera. Ooh, police car. This is kind of interesting because the train is popping into Seaholme station in there. And there go the level crossings. Yeah, we might as well. Come on, up you go. Thank you. And the station's just down here at the end of the street. Now I might be able to get down here before the train comes. The train I'm looking for goes in the direction I'm walking. So I'm going up to Newport to check out the landscape for the next walk. By the way, while I think of it, here's a couple of photos I took on the last walk because I didn't take any on this one. Because that project kind of died in the arse a bit. And this is a very slow and gradual ramp up to Seaholme station, which is just here. So here we are, Seaholme station. Next walk's the killer. But we're going to do it. Probably Sunday this week. So, thanks a lot for watching. Usual things, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let me know what you think of this walk. You can also support the channel by going to patreon.com/TerryTalksMovies. I'll see you on the next one. Here we go.